I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so glad to hear. Thank you. I'm the best you can be in this transition time. Look, yeah, guys, it's nice here. Not too bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everything's all open in France?
Well, actually, it's getting worse because cafes had to close this week. But until the end of last week, really, Paris looked kind of okay, kind of normal. Though we're all being really careful, of course, for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you're so well, though. It's really good to see.
that's good. Yeah, I know it is good. So, hey, congratulations once again for the Golden Age. Where has it been shown lately?
So really, the latest place where it's been showed, oh, it was so magical. It was the opening night of the London Independent Film Festival at the Genesis Cinema in the heart of London, and it was amazing. The film sold out. It was just before lockdown, and the Golden Age tremendously, here it is, by the way, I just put it for you, tremendously echoed with the situation we were heading into, because, you know, it's a film about change and about support, and about also suicide awareness and all those topics that are extremely important for artists, and also how much we need artists in any times of transition. And the film won the best feature film, so that was really exciting, and it was a magical night for many reasons. So, and we just had also a wonderful review coming from Miami, like the most fantastic reviews. So we're just really thankful because, you know, when I wrote this film, I was really concerned about what was going on in the world. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to inspire.
Mm-hmm.
And when we screened the film in London, it was so, it's like, it's what the characters say so much echoed with what was going to happen. It's like almost I was not just there representing the film as the director, producer, writer, actor, but just really like helping and supporting our audiences to go through these times. Because a lot have come back to us later and saying, that was such a great night before lockdown, and you really inspired us with showing how artists are important.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to hear that now. We need this solidarity.
So, what inspired you to do the Golden Age?
The Golden Age, two main things inspire me. First, really this anger, I'm gonna say anger at the world, like all these things that are not going right. I'm speaking about when I wrote it 2-3 years ago, now probably even more, but like, I think many of us, I realized it's really not, it's a lot of us in the world that really feel that there's so much that is not working. And this year in 2020, we really know we have so much to change in the world. And so it really inspired me to make people, our audiences, see that even if they don't feel rich, they don't feel powerful, they feel like they're pretty much nothing, like I felt, you can still have a voice and you can inspire. It all comes with a little thing, and with solidarity together, we can bring change. It's really something that must happen as a society. And the second thing that really inspired me for the Golden Age was Saint-Tropez, this magical village that's very famous. In the 60s, it became really, really famous from a fishing harbor, becoming this artistic international hub where artists coming from the US, the UK, France, everywhere in the world, from all kinds of backgrounds, literature, music, would gather. And it's a village that also welcomed me for the film. And I know there is something in this village that is magical, the light, the Tropesians. And to me, this village really changed the world because all the artists at the time in the 60s, when there was the Vietnam War, or just really civil war, and so much that was not going right, well, this village was kind of like this hub that really gathered these artists to inspire and bring change. And this is where the Golden Age starts.
Now, why with the setting of 1967? Because you know you had the Vietnam War referenced. You basically used period clothing, but this is a story that could take place at any time period. So why 1967?
why 1967 is because summer 1967 really is the year where Saint-Tropez welcomed all these hippies. It was actually just a year before something in France, a riot in France that's really, really famous here, which is Mai 68, May 68, where there was a huge revolution, civil revolution, especially in Paris, where the students and also many intellectual celebrities in France really took up on the streets to say we really need change. Because obviously wanting change is something, but then the question is how do we make it happen? For instance, the Beatles, when in Jacksonville in 1964, they said they're not going to play in front of a segregated audience. And for the first time in Jacksonville, there was not a segregated audience, but a normal audience. That's changed. And so 1967 was this year where everything was about to change. And so our characters, Angèle, that I'm in the film, who's a Parisian theater actress, she knows she's feeling really ill at ease in this world as a woman. Because, you know, at the time, if you were an actress and you were not successful, it was okay. As long as you raise your children correctly, you know, it was fine. And we get to see through the character this how uncomfortable they feel and how they realize, how they become aware that they need change and that change cannot wait. And 67 really is the year where you can see that in many countries, especially in France, because in Saint-Tropez, this is when the hippies arrived and it became something really, really big.
So tell us about the development of your two characters, Angela and Sebastian, for your film.
I developed the characters.
Yeah, talk about the characters, how you basically managed to write about them, you trying to develop a romantic relationship between the two characters.
Yes, of course. You kind of have to, right? An American and a French actress in France in the 60s.
Yeah.
How can this not lead to romance? I inspired a lot from all the people who opened their hearts to me. From the 60s, I'm too young to have actually lived in the 60s, unless for the magic of cinema with the film. I really understood a lot from them. I think we have so much to learn from history. In the 60s, you would walk differently, you would eat differently, you would just live differently, like your perception of time even would be so different. And the characters are Sebastian and Angèle. Angèle is this theater actress who comes from a fine family, and what happens is that she studied a little bit in Liverpool and London, and she's originally from Saint-Tropez. And she's one of these women at the time who were not asked for as much as she would do. And so through her, she really was inspired by all the greatest women in the 60s. So you may think of Françoise Sagan, who was in Saint-Tropez quite a bit and was this very famous French writer. Even Brigitte Bardot, who did so much to change the mentality at the time we had of women on the screen, especially with God Created Women, that even had quite a big impact internationally, right? And I think Angèle, it's a wonderful honor for me to be the character in the film, because she's a tribute to all these women. And also all those who maybe didn't dare to take that step, because I really met a lot of women. And some are quite famous, like Sally Kirkland, who is a wonderful actress who was a Golden Globe winner and an Academy Award nominated actress. And at the time would go to Saint-Tropez with Catherine Deneuve and, you know, enjoy and get inspired before her filming in Italy. Angèle, she really is a tribute to all these women, all the women who really had the strength to go for change, to make that choice, which was a really strong side at the time. But also to all those who maybe were a little more quiet or had a different path. And I wanted to pay tribute to all of them. And Sebastian in the film is this Franco-American producer. His father is from a military background. And for him, his son obviously must defend his country, and he really has a certain expectation from his son. And Sebastian wants to make films. He wants to become an artist. So obviously there is a conflict of generation, we may say so. And what's really beautiful with this character, Sebastian, what I really love developing about him is that he is this character that really need like a social change. He doesn't come from a very rich family. He comes from a usual background in America. And he really, at the beginning of the film, he has so much against him. Like, he's in debt. He kind of does a reset by going to his mother's footstep in Paris. And what makes the difference is that when he meets Angel, he sees this as an opportunity. And I think I want the Golden Age to inspire other artists through solidarity. So we tackle, as you know, the topic of suicide awareness, which is really important in the artistic world, but really in any industry. The importance of solidarity, like you need to be inspired, but you cannot really succeed just by yourself. You need to grow with other artists who believe in you. And it's not about competition. There's room for everyone, but it's about connecting with the right people. And it's about growing a story together and being really committed. And what's really beautiful in his character, I think, is that he is a tribute to all the artists maybe who are not very helped by their relatives or the people around them, who didn't start in the right way. Like, everything was against them. But when they find that opportunity, they take that step and they seize it. And with solidarity, they manage to make great art happen together. So I'm really glad that the Golden Age can inspire artists and make everyone feel that even if they feel really small or not in the right place, they can bring change. And there are some solutions that are presented in the film for that.
Now, you don't act very often, but when did it come to the decision that you wanted to play the main character, Angel? Because obviously you're very proud of this character. Talk about playing the main character for the film in the Golden Age.
Thank you so much for putting that out, because as you know, I had many roles in the film. Originally, I was not supposed to perform as Angel in the film. I was so excited to direct, produce, and write this ambitious indie pure drama, and I had chosen another actress who became unavailable. So what happened is that when we did the test shoot and then we auditioned Sebastian in LA for the character, well, I had to when you do the audition, someone has to read the lines for the other person. And I asked for two of my most amazing acting teachers that I've had for 12 years, Kevin West and John Van Beck, and they're the best acting teachers you can imagine in LA. Really, I owe them a lot, and LA taught me so much. And they were like, oh, wow, Jenna, this character, like, you're amazing. Okay, Sebastian, you need to work together. But and I was like, and then it's really my team who kind of encouraged me. And I can tell you at the beginning, I was like, no. I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to have so much imagine directing. And what's really funny is that, I think it's funny now, but like 2 days before filming principal photography in Saint-Tropez gig, I lost my voice. Because I was speaking with everyone, all the partners, all the locations, like my cast, my crew, and you see in the BDS, we were rehearsing, in the mythical Saint-Tropez theater, and I was like whispering, and I think I was the only person who thought it was hilarious. But what's happening is that I wouldn't have taken it, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel ready, and I felt ready, and I did it, and it worked great. But I think maybe because I don't know, maybe it's just not destiny, but I think I actually realized not just that I look like her, but I actually believe Angel grew a better person out of me. Because like it takes so much to really take that step she took. And we know all the wonderful women and men who sacrificed so much for also us women to have rights we are still enjoying now. And I think she really grew a person out of me. So I think sometimes I look like her. I don't really know if she made me become a better person. I'm not sure, but it was really for coincidence. That's the right answer. Because originally I was just supposed to write, produce, and direct.
So you want to act again after this? This was a big responsibility.
Thank you. It really is. And it is because of all the wonderful women I pay tribute to for this character. And all the actors struggling now, because she's an actress in the film. Yes, I would definitely act again. I have the most amazing agent who's Eagleston Management, Ellen, who's based in the UK. She's amazing. And I am auditioning, even if right now, obviously, there's not so much filming happening because we have to be really safe. So I would do it again. I think at the end of the day, I really am a storyteller and a filmmaker. And if my voice can help get that out through a character, I'll do it. At the end of the day, I think I'm more of a director. Like I would turn down a role for directing because I think I was born to be a director. And I love working with, the crew, the cinematographer, like everyone involved in the team, all the heads of department and the actors. And I personally think a great director should be a great actor, or at least because actors are the heart of the film. Like there's something that you can never fix in post is the acting, unless you just cut it, but that's not the goal. So, and I really owe a lot to Kevin West, John Swanbeck, like all the teachers I had in LA, because they really taught me a lot, and not just about acting, but about marketing, about getting your voice out there. And I really love that. I really connect with that because I believe at the end of the day, we're all storytellers and we're all in this together and growing this story together.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about your counterpart, Sebastian. Why was he perfect for the role to play Sebastian Davis?
Sebastian was amazing as Sebastian. And by the way, it's a coincidence that they have the same name because I named Sebastian from Ryan Gosling in La La Land. I love Damien Chazelle's work. He is a very big inspiration to me. So Ryan Gosling is Sebastian in La La Land. So that was kind of funny because it's almost the same. This is what happened, and I think it's I had known Sebastian for a good few years, but when we auditioned him, and we did a test shoot also in Paris, he was the character. And I think it's, some directors go through that. I've heard a lot of directors finding the actor, seeing it. And I know there are also some who do films and maybe don't necessarily have such, but he was the character. And it's incredible to see how close to the character he is and how much of a connection there is between them. After the shoot, he mentioned that it was difficult for him to leave his character. And also what's amazing with Sebastian is that he never questioned any of my direction. He had suggestions, but he's wonderful at being shaped. Can you do this? Or even as an actress, that was interesting because as a director, I would direct him, or sometimes I would kind of play a trick and just play something in the scene. And he would really he was so trustworthy, always buying into anything I would say. And so he really, basically, I think I'm really thankful for my team because everyone's really trusted me. I've had such this precise vision for the film, and I can tell you there's been so much love behind the film. And so when we developed the characters, we rehearsed as much as we could on location. He loved doing it, he loved rehearsing, and he was wonderful for me to shape because I would give him a direction and immediately he would really, really get on it. It was instant, which is, I think, the most amazing thing I can wait from an actor, to be just so easy to shape.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It sounds like you had a great experience, but I also want to basically mention that this is your feature film directorial debut, because you produced a lot of movies before. How did the decision you come to be behind the camera too?
I've always wanted to direct. And what happened is that I actually had this conversation with a lot of fabulous artists in the past days. Thank you so much for mentioning it, because what happened is that I've turned 28. So when I wrote the script, I was 24. And especially when you're a female and you're really young, I think sometimes which is very fair, you really need to know enough. It's maybe a little more difficult to get trust, but what happened, and I'm really thankful I did all that, is that I knew my passion from a very young age. And what happened is that I thought, okay, I will be young, I will be a female, but I'm gonna learn so much. I'm gonna learn so much. I'm gonna be so good. They'll have to trust me, you know? So what happened is that I learned from the best teachers. My first internship was at Panavision, so I could get my hands on all the cameras. The first short I produced with Embark Films was The Bigger Picture, with an Academy Award nominated DP, and with Robert Sheehan, who at the time was already really famous, and his fans, by the way, around the world are like the kindest fans ever, from Misfits, but now he's breaking records on the Umbrella Academy, so that's big. He was a wonderful actor to work with, and Rosie Day was amazing. And so I have a background in distribution, working at the 2 top distributors in France, and I really mention all of them because to be a director, you need to really know from all the dimensions, at least in my eyes, like to be able to grow this vision and also work with your cast and crew. You need to know about makeup, about costumes, especially when it's a pure drama. Like it's really part of a cinematography about props and design and obviously storytelling and even distribution, the festivals. Like there are so many dimensions. And I've always thought that was really important. And when I directed the Golden Age, I really realized how important that actually is. So I would say you're never ready, but like really you should go for it, but you have to go for it prepared. Like for the Golden Age, I storyboarded everything. I picked all the locations in advance. We rehearsed a lot. We rehearsed on location. I really made everything so precise and detailed so that, when we filming, as you mentioned, it was a great experience because we had everything ready. And I think it's also where the magic happens, Like everyone's here, everyone knows what she or he is doing, and it just happens. And you're absolutely right. It's really magical. That's the word.
Well, what's also magical is that you filmed in your backyard, Paris. Talk about the experience of that and the very important locations to get the Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame into your film.
Paris, just like Saint-Tropez, have changed my life. And I'm so thankful. I was chosen by Paris City Official just a few weeks ago to perform with the most fantastic actors like Mathilde Seigné, Alexandre Nezek, to just represent the anniversary of the liberation of Paris. Filming in Paris is the most magical thing that can happen for a filmmaker. So we filmed, as you mentioned, near the Eiffel Tower. We filmed in this very famous restaurant called Chez Julien, where they filmed also La Vie en Rose, which I love, by the way, and Chocolat. Marcy is an amazing actor. And I have to tell you something. The locations, the Golden Age features 35 exceptional locations, mostly around Paris, and in the Saint-Tropez area. They've all been amazing. We've had no issue. Like, it's like really locations have truly become a character in the film. Especially because I was so excited for our audiences to leave 60s Paris and Saint-Tropez for these locations, and also the music and all the rest, but especially for the locations, you get to feel like you're there, or maybe there again for those who've known this time. Then thank you so much for mentioning it, because I must insist, like, there is nothing in the world like waking up very early in the morning and knowing we're gonna film in Paris. There's something in the light, just like in Saint-Tropez. This place is so full of high energy and history, and like if you want an anecdote, I felt so good because when we filmed at Notre Dame Cathedral, that was a pretty big thing. We even closed down the Birac and Bridge, and Paris have been so helpful. And I remember we arrived, and immediately there were a couple of staff from the army who arrived, because we have to be really safe. And they were so nice, they arrived with all their weapon equipment, and they were so nice. And they just were checked our authorization, and they were like, oh, that's all good, and congratulations. And everyone, there's just something in Paris about supporting artists that is just amazing. And I'm really thankful for that. It made us feel so good. And I think it really, exactly a year later, Notre Dame burnt. The Golden Age is the last drama ever filmed at Notre Dame before filming. And just like it happened with the open line in London just before lockdown, I think sometimes there are some films that just get a little bit helped by the universe, or there are just some films that the universe want to see made because they're important and because they matter. And I like to believe the Golden Age is part of them. And I cannot be more thankful for all the fantastic help of everyone who supported the film, because it's made a really big difference.
Now, tell me about the house in Saint-Tropez that you actually used. I mean, it's a beautiful house.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, you know what's really funny is that I rented a really beautiful villa at the top of the hill with a fantastic view on the sea to house the cast and crew. That was really nice. And what's funny is that I rented a different house for the filming. So when we filmed a few days in the house. So when that happened, I just stayed there with Seb, the actor, my co-star, and our cinematographer, because we wanted to be in the energy. Really funny. Okay, I'm gonna tell you an anecdote, Gig. I want to give you all the behind the scenes. But like, what's really funny is that I wanted a house that looks 60s, like a real authentic house. So it had to look a certain way. Obviously, we had to dress everything, but I wanted it to be authentic. And what's really funny is, so I think it was literally, not the night before we started filming, but the night before. At 3 a.m. in the morning, we were sleeping there, but like my cast and crew weren't fine in the great over villa, but we stayed in the house with cinematographer and set. And at 3 a.m., there was this alarm that started. Like this really old alarm that starts and you don't know why, and it doesn't stop. And it was so noisy, so I was like, immediately, I was, oh my God, is someone is in the house? I was like imagining something, but there was nothing. I don't even know why it started. And I remember we looked at the alert and I was like, what are we gonna do? I remember Seth, he tried to put his finger on it like that to try and stop it. And it was so unbearable that all of a sudden he just took it and threw it away. But I can tell you, it was such it really proved the house was authentic. So that was such a great behind the scene, and we really loved about it. But when these things happen, it's such a great memory, because when it happens, you're thinking, man, we're filming tomorrow. We have to wake up at 4 a.m. We're going to have 2 hours sleep. Do we really need this now? Oh my God, that was so funny. But the rest of the cast and crew were in the more modern villa, so they were fun. It was just really funny.
Wow. So was it difficult to dress your settings to be 1967 with the clothes, using a car, that kind of stuff? Could you talk about the challenges of doing that to create a period piece?
So true indeed, because as you mentioned, even if a lot of our locations are really authentic, there are still things that need to be fixed. And I have to be really thankful for the amazing help of our partners. For instance, there is something that was extremely fashionable and really usual at the time, is that in the 60s, you would, especially in Saint-Tropez, but also Paris, you would drive what you call a Solex. Do you see what a Solex is? It's Brigitte Bardot, sometimes you see her with a little bike. Yeah. That's a Solex. And it's so nice, and it's really fashionable, but it's really also really, really period. At the time, it was really, really what you would use. So we had this amazing members and associations, really Tropesians who helped and who would actually come and drive this Solex in the shot. And they're amazing. In terms of the cars, same with the Deux Chevaux, which extremely trendy at the time. These really beautiful vintage cars. I'm not gonna say any spoiler, but you see them quite a bit in the Golden Age. Also, all the period makeup and hair had been completely, obviously, discussed in advance. Another funny anecdote about this, because obviously period and hair, especially for pure drama, hair and makeup important. They always are because of cinematography. But for a pure drama, they usually are also what really set the tone and the period, like sound. Even sound is important to the tone, period, like the film. So I really wanted to pay tribute to like all this beautiful stuff, especially females would have at the time, you know. And I like about my character is that she really is quite modern for her time. She really is like a committed, strong woman. So some of styles we really discussed that with the hair and makeup were really, really period or just slightly advanced, so that we really see that the audience can really see that on camera and enjoy it. So I remember there is this this beautiful makeup that Leslie, the film reviewer who published her review yesterday, put it out, and that's wonderful. There is this really beautiful blue eye, like eye bird shadow that we did on me. I think it probably took 3 hours. And I remember after we did that, I almost like retrieved all my eyelashes, because it's such a strong style. Like when you doing it in reality is something, but doing it so it really stands out on camera. And I've had a wonderful director who attended the world premiere in Boston, and he was like, "I've never seen that color in a film. How did you do this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not surprised." Because it's a really like, it's not a blue like this. This blue is really beautiful. It's like a blue, like bird blue, like, you know, this blue that you see in some 70s magazines or late 60s magazines. And it's a very, and I was so particular about it, I thought it would look amazing for audiences and really reveal Angel's character. And so we did it. But then, like, because obviously after you need to retrieve the makeup, and I seriously, I couldn't even retrieve it. I had to do some of it. So I saved my eyelashes. So I saved my voice, and then I saved my eyelashes, which was probably a good idea.
Wow, you really enjoyed doing this production. Hey, congratulations! But I have one more question about all this. Did you believe you changed the world now after you finishing this film?
I know I've changed some people's lives. I know some of our audience members came to me and said thank you, because I never thought I would be able to direct. That's the most common thing I've heard from other filmmakers who think, you know, who just, it's sometimes it's just in your head, you know, like they think they couldn't make it. They just think it was impossible. And just knowing that I can have this impact on some people's lives really makes me feel really good. What I know is that it was really important to me. The first thing we did when the film was completed, I showed it in Saint-Tropez. We had a private screening in the beautiful Saint-Tropez theater, which is also a cinema, with the partners and the cast and crew, a way for me to thank them, but also because in a way they helped me in the most amazing way. I kind of wanted them to tell me, yes, this is Saint-Tropez, before I showed with the wall. And when they saw it, they were like, thank you, this is it, you captured it. And I know that it's really important for me, because as we know, look at what happened with Notre Dame Cathedral. Look at what is happening with the pandemic. Nothing is forever. No one is for granted. And I know that with the Golden Age, I pay tribute to this beautiful area and these beautiful artists and people. I don't know if the film will change the world. I know I'll keep working really hard so it does. And I think also, thank you for mentioning it, because a lot of people ask, how do you change the world? How do you bring change? First, it's not necessarily something really big. It starts really, really near you, you know? Like if you're a male, think about how you look at your sister or your partner or your colleagues. Are you looking at them respectfully, like as a professional, believing in them, encouraging them? If you're a director, when you cast your casting crew, and I really insist on crew, do you include diversity from Asia, America, Europe, Africa? Like, do you include diversities, or are they just white males? You know, I mean, I don't want to be too specific, but like, it doesn't, what I mean is that I think the biggest step really is in our head. It's about awareness, it's about caring, and it's about support. And I think with what's happening in 2020, we have an opportunity to kind of use this reset, at least to bring change. And I think it's possible. And I think with support and solidarity, it will happen.
Excellent. And one more thing before I let you go is because we are talking via Zoom. I'm in California, you're in Paris right now. And obviously the pandemic is worldwide. How are you staying creative and sane during times like this?
Thank you so much for mentioning this. It's really important for me. The truth is, I'm so thankful I've met you, Gig. We had the most fantastic time last year at the West Coast Premiere of the TLA Film Fest. And I'm really thankful that, as you say, we've had a wonderful experience with the Golden Age. This is a dream film to make, and I know it will inspire more. I'm really thankful I had the strength to do all this. I'm also thinking about all those who, for some reason, couldn't do it yet, who haven't had the opportunity, the strength, or whatever, or just because their project was up because of the pandemic. And I wanted to give back. And I want this film not just to be successful, but I wanted to inspire. So I'm really excited. I've been backed by Paris City because I've been working for Canceris since the Kickstarter first edition, which is happening right now. But also I'm the director of the Paris International Film Festival. So it's been the most fantastic experience because even now our jury is mostly international. So we are, just as you say, through Zoom and just through being connected in the distance, we are championing change now. And I can tell you, we received the most fantastic work, positive work. And I think it really proves that artists are still strong and they need help. And I've realized it's great to champion them, but they need the support along the way. They actually need to make the film happen before it gets rewarded. And so we are hosting at the festival 2 workshops. They are free every month. It's very educational. We have the most generous panelists and share their knowledge, and you can ask them any question. We've had it about screenwriting, branding, festivals, and there are a lot more coming up. And it's a great way to be creative. I'm also directing. I was in pre-production two weeks ago for a film I'm filming in Nice. So I'm really thankful that I have the strength, the opportunities, and I'm thankful for that. But I also want to support. I know the strength and the power of solidarity. So through the festival, we're excited to champion change and the filmmakers who bring change.
Excellent. Well, hey, Jenna, congratulations for the Golden Age. I hope you make it back to California in the future, and so this way we could do this in real person again.
Merci, Gig. I definitely will, and thank you so much for all you're doing. Like, you've been nonstop, and I'm really thankful because you managed to share our voices for also other artists, and I really appreciate that. Like, I really relate with that. So thank you so much. I'll be sure to meet you. You'll be one of the first person I meet when I'm back in LA. I'm excited. I miss the US.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much. Bye now.
Merci, thank you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.